So the market is up once again after a slew of selling last week. What's happening? What's changing in the economy? What's happening on a day-to-day movement? And lastly, what are the charts telling us? If you want to know more about that, then you have to check this video out. Hey guys, so this video will be a discussion from where we were when the markets dropped last March and where we are right now, what has changed from an economic standpoint, and where are we also in the grand scheme of things looking at it from a charting perspective. So I'll segment this video into three. Number one, what are the significant developments in terms of where the economy is? Then second, I'm gonna show you current price action because as you all know, over the past weeks we saw foreigners start to buy, but then after that we also saw them sell last week. Where are we right now as of the close of the day? Then lastly, I'm gonna talk about the charts. We're gonna do technical analysis. We're gonna analyze it using moving averages, MACD, support and resistance, but for this time I'm gonna use Fibonacci in terms of how I analyze it, and I'm also gonna draw my trend lines. So please do note, as of where we are right now, there's so many things that has changed. Please remember, last March and April, we didn't know how the virus would be. We all knew that we were on lockdown. We all knew that there was a virus that had no cure yet. They had to contain the situation. Hence, somewhere around April, they closed down the economy. 80 to 90+% of the economy literally was shut down last March and April due to the extensive lockdowns that were placed. It gave us a negative GDP growth, meaning the economy contracted, meaning for the first time in a very, very long time, the Philippine economy went into a recession, which in all intents and purposes is not good, which in all intents and purposes as an investor also, it's not something that people are excited about. Of course, no one wants to invest into something that there's a lot of uncertainty and the economy is not so good. If there's a glimmer of hope in everything that I have been saying, it's basically this. When we started to open the economy last June, putting the Philippines, majority of it at least, and Metro Manila into GCQ, what happened there is we saw a certain spike. Somewhere around August, we were brought back from ECQ to MECQ, which was also a drag because, as you all know, we need for the economy to go back to where it's supposed to be, we need to have more transactions. We need to see more and more businesses be open, and that was a bit of a drag. And it's also reflecting in the numbers. And as you all know, we made the video with Dr. Alvin Ang. Videos are right here where he talked about what's happening to the economy right now in the true state. And it's also reflecting. And the thing about that though is this. I don't know if you noticed it, starting November, we've seen more and more people start to go out already. We've seen more people be more comfortable to eat out. More people have been walking around in the streets, which was not there before. Of course, this has to be tempered with a lot of safety because at the end of the day, this is a health crisis which has spilled over into an economic crisis as well. But the whole root of this is people's health. So people have been learning to adapt into all of this, and businesses too have been learning to adapt. That being said, we're seeing more and more businesses starting to pivot, starting to shift, and starting to thrive in this new normal. So that being said, I've said this in a lot of the videos that I really believe that April, March, May, in terms of the economy, we've already seen the worst. The whole drop that we saw, seeing the markets go into an intraday low of 4,000, that already factored in the uncertainty of what's happening in the economy right now. And that being said, it's already also showing that as companies started to release results, a lot of them were negative, a lot of them lost money, some of them, their growths were hit, some of them barely any growth as well. You just have a few data points of companies that have done well in this crisis, but majority have been hit, majority are not as good, which is reflecting the downward sentiment, or which reflected in the downward sentiment that we saw last March. As the economy starts to recover, and as there's news of a vaccine that most likely will come out late next year, or the Philippines will receive bits and pieces of the vaccine regardless if it's AstraZeneca, Pfizer, or Moderna, this alone will put a bit of positivity in the markets. This alone will put a bit of excitement altogether, because as you all know, this is a crisis, this is a health crisis, and if there's a way for people to go back to normal, if there's a way for businesses to function as normal, then this will be a welcome sentiment also altogether. And looking at it also from a global standpoint, if you look at it, the elections are done. Uncertainty is already out the window in terms of the virus itself, in terms of it being contained, in terms of the lockdowns being there. The more open the economy is, the more we allow people to go out, the more transactions that we see, the better it will be for our economy. So the reason why I'm saying this, and before I move on to today's action, is that we're very, very far still from our recovery back to our long-term growth trajectory, but we're better off already now than where we were before last March and April. So the reason why I'm saying that is especially for people who want to still invest in the market and you want to be very, very fundamental about it, then look for the ones that are thriving still, that are doing well. And especially if you're a dividend investor, the ones that you know their payouts won't be hit as much because their businesses have been somewhat resilient in these trying times. For those who have longer time horizons, you position in the companies that you think that when the economy starts to recover again, those companies would go back and it would start to earn again. Hence, it will bring the stock prices up. But again, if that's your style, you might need to wait. So here's a quick look on the markets. We saw market value turnover for today is 9.8 billion pesos. The PSCI is back at the 7,000 level, closing at 7,009.56. It's up 3.21%. And what's so interesting about that, this all happened once again in the last few minutes of trading. Majority of the movers from the index were SM Prime, Ali, JG Summit, ICT, AEV, PLDT, Meralco, Jollibee, and so much more. Please do note that for the second consecutive day, BPI is continually down. It was massively down yesterday, and we talked about it on a previous video that it failed to break out from the resistance. Ali again is back, pushing up once again. So that's just very, very interesting to note. And there's one thing that I'd like to add into all of this is this all happened with larger amounts of volume, but in a time where foreigners are still selling. So please do note, when as all of this is happening, we still have not gone past the fact that foreigners are still getting out, foreigners are still selling in our markets. Please do note that one of the reasons why we saw the market start to push up over the past few weeks is that foreigners started to buy. But what's so interesting is the ones that were sold down the past few days, they're the ones that are up right now with heavy amounts of buying. So for Ayala Land, one of the larger ones that had bits and pieces of buying, it still was sold down. Net foreign selling for Ayala Land was around 7.7 billion pesos. So just an interesting thing to understand that sometimes if you're looking at specific stocks, you may need also to drill down and look at it from a stock to stock basis to see which are the stocks that are being bought by foreigners and which are the stocks that are being sold. BDO also, as of now, is also being sold down. Net foreign selling is still at 161 million. So here's where we are from the charts. As you all know, the market closed at 7,000, but I want to show it to you first from a longer term perspective, and I want to analyze it using Fibonacci. Then later on, we're gonna draw support and resistances, and also we're gonna show you how it is using MACD and also moving averages as well. First things first, from a Fibonacci perspective, at least from drawing retracement lines, you will see that the main resistance right now coincides with where the 200-day moving average is. So please do note that this is me analyzing it using Fibonacci, and that from a Fibonacci perspective, I'll try to zoom in so you have better clarity on how it actually looks like. So looking at it from Fibonacci retracements, we have a resistance here somewhere around the 7,500 level. So I repeat, we have a current resistance at the 7,500 level. But one thing is so interesting is that after it has broken out and moved past the 6,230, 6,240 mark, we saw it start to push up once again. So please do note, for those who follow Fibonacci, those who use retracements, this is the current resistance and the current support right now. And what's so interesting also is that I placed this downward trending line, and I think I posted a photo of this in Facebook a couple of days back. We really have not still broken past this downward trending line, which if you try to measure it, it was the highest point at the end of at least the end of the large push that we had. This was around January, February 2018. So this is more, this we are approaching the third year mark already of the Philippines, at least the Philippine market's hitting its all-time high, hitting the largest point of the market as a whole. So it has not broken past that. We have not seen any reversals yet. So key thing to watch out for as of today is this resistance level via Fibonacci, then this downward trending line that we also have. Now zooming in further, for those who want to analyze the markets in a shorter term perspective, one way for you to also look at it right here is that, as you all know, the market pushed up, no, and bounced to around 7,000. And what's so interesting about that, if I'll try to put a line here that will peg it close to the 7,000 level, it means that it's right over here again. You had a large white candle here. So that being said, one of the reasons that could constitute for that is basically this. It bounced off the 20-day moving average. For those who attended our Stock Smart sessions, you do know that 20-day moving average is also used as some term of support level. So that being said, short term, if you'll peg another short term resistance here, there could be some sort of hesitation also as it starts to approach this level. This is at the 7,150 plus level. As we saw the market hit that a couple of days ago, we started to see some retracements also. But that being said, we are still in the midst of a reversal. MACD still showing that the market still has legs. It still is bullish as of now, and all of the moving averages are confirming everything. Key thing again to watch out for, which has not changed, which is so consistent to where we are right now, is this, the resistance at the 7,500 level and the downward trending slope that I drew. So if we want to see a larger move, a larger push for the PSEI as a whole, I think it should be predicated on breaking this 7,500 level plus this longer term resistance. But that being said, also comparing all of the moving averages and MACD, it's still it's interesting to note that the market is trying to reverse also, based on all of the things that I've mentioned at the start of the video, that things are reopening. We are much better than where we were before. We are at a much better economic place than where we were in March, April, and May. So this is the upward trending line that if it breaks past this, then there's a shot, bigger legs, that we could see the market push and go higher as well. So this is still our current major trend. It needs, this counter trend needs to break past this for us to be able to see it push and go higher. But as of today, all moving averages are still bullish. The market bounced off the 20-day moving average. MACD showed some slight cross downs denoting a change in direction, but basically it's still above zero. It's still at a more bullish stance than where it was previously. So there, I hope you guys got a lot from this. We tackled the market from a price movement point of view, what caused it, what triggered it for the day, and we also talked about what were the current changes from an economic point of view, and also what the charts are telling us as well. So please do note, we may discuss about the markets, but please do your own research as you start to trade and invest on your own, because again, it's your money, it's your responsibility. You have to take the time to learn. Never ever buy it or sell it just because it's discussed here on YouTube. But I do hope that this video gave you quality content and value to help you trade the markets with confidence, and it gave you a semblance also, regardless if you are a technical or fundamental investor, or you are also a trader or someone who just looks at the macroeconomic trends. I hope that this helped you somehow decide and gave you enough information also not to just purely rely on speculation or hope, because at the end of the day, it's nice to be hopeful, but hope in the world of investing is not a strategy. So I guess that's it for now. If you want to know more about fundamentals, technicals, and the basics of the market, in the description below, we have a lot of videos in my 3 channels about trading and investing. We also have books written about it that's available in National Bookstore and Shopee for those who want to consume content via reading. And if you're new to this and you want more, like, share, subscribe, and smash the bell so you get updated every time I come up with new content about investing. And if you have questions, feel free to put it in the comment section below, and I'll try to make a video on top of the questions that you guys want me to answer. And if you want to support the channel, press the like button for the YouTube algorithm, or if you just really want to support, just type algo, so YouTube pushes this video up so that Filipinos see more and more videos that will help them grow in the knowledge of trading and investing. So I guess that's it for now. Marvin Gerbo. I hope this video helps you trade well, trade strong, trade smart. See you all again soon, guys, and God bless you all.